So Chainlink, it feels like it's been a while. Let's have a look at the price action for Link. Let's jump over onto that daily time frame. Of course, we did see that magnificent push to the upside for Link, seeing a 263% pump, which was absolutely fantastic. This obviously starting over here on the 10th of June 2023, and it looks to be capping off here on the 9th of December 2023. So after a really impulsive fast breakout to the upside, the finishing moves here have been somewhat underwhelming. A very poor fourth wave, and arguably, if this fifth wave here is complete, a very poor fifth wave. When we do go up onto that weekly time frame, well, we can see we're potentially looking for even more to the upside. Do we still have that potential in mind, or are we simply in the corrective stage? And of course, on the 4-hour time frame, members down in our Discord will know, up in the traders chat specifically, that I was watching this ascending parallel channel, looking for that move to come down to here. Once we lost this channel, well, things turned pretty bearish, coming down on an impulsive structure. But what we can see most recently is a bit of a correction to the upside. So let's look at all things Chainlink. Let's have a look at its price action. Let's really understand where it may be going next. All the usual good stuff, guys. But before we do that, run the intro. Yes, welcome back to Cheeky Crypto Uncensored. Let's look at all things Chainlink. It does feel like it has been a while, and of course we will start over there on the 4-hour time frame. We can look at the 1 hours, but just now I feel looking at these 4-hour charts is a bit more prevalent, a bit more purposeful, especially for the purpose of these videos that we are doing. So we can see, obviously, our members down in Discord will know that I was watching at this move coming up to the upside. Obviously, we did have a bit of a diagonal pattern here, this 5-wave move internally, but this giving us higher highs and higher lows on this push to the upside, giving us this parallel channel that we can see. Then, of course, we did see this break to the downside, the test of the lower end of this parallel channel where we completely lost it. Let's zoom right on into that one there, guys. We can see we completely lost that on the wick, came up to retest it, then we have found it as resistance since, coming back up here mid-December to test out once again, and once again finding it as resistance. Could we drag this one all the way over here? Is this going to just simply now be a trend line? Let's delete that off the charts. Let's just stick a trend line onto here. Let's grab it onto the actual correct bits here. It would of course have to touch onto these wicks to the downside. If we're really to be, a bit more accurate with this one, this is why I don't like trend lines, as they can be put to wherever anybody wants them to be. So what I've purposely done here, guys, this push to the upside we see here, we can see the trend line touching upon it. And of course, this push down in the wave 4, we can once again see a retest on the trend line. When we come back here, we can see the test once again here. Let's just make sure we have this one on correctly. There we go, just about here. We can see a retest of the trend line, a test of the trend line, and of course the origin of the trend line. So when we come up to the current price action, could we potentially be looking for that price to really push up and test out that trend line up about the $16 level? We'll obviously get into that one a little bit later. But this move, obviously a diagonal to the upside, it looks like we have had quite an underwhelming fifth wave. Of course, we did have that target area between $17.63 and the higher level here of $19.44. What we can see though, we do know that the minimum expectation was met for that move to the upside. Let's just make this a bit more clear. $16.60, that wave 3 high. Well, quite obviously, guys, we have seen that wave 5 push higher than the wave 3 high, telling us that that fifth wave move within itself is complete where it sits. So the internal structures are good. The macro structure, or the bigger structure surrounding that one, great. But what happened next? Well, of course, what we have seen is this 5-wave move to the downside. Once again, the members down in Discord will know we charted this one, we caught this one nice and early, and we got this break to the downside playing out once again. But what is obviously quite clear to see here, we have a very simple wave 2 going on here. Let's just snap this onto the correct area. We can see this wave 2 is very simple, it's very quick. We then had this sharp drop down in the wave 3, all in one bodied candle. We came up into the wave 4, which we can see is fairly complex in my opinion. Then we dropped down in the fifth wave, where once again we see this one truncating. If we were to snap the bottom of that wave 3, well, what we can see down here is that wave 5 did cross the low of the wave 3, the minimum expectation had been met, and we can conclude that that 5-wave move within itself is complete. So the question begs, where is Chainlink going next? But what we can see is on this 4-hour time frame, we have met the first target we had set. We've also met the hourly target. That would be this one we have in here, and for the purpose of today's video, we will take this one off of the 4-hour time frame. Let's just clear these ones all the way off, guys. I apologize. I probably once again should have had these ones done. Again, all of these 1-hour targets, these 4-hour targets, we try to get them up to date as best as possible down in our Discord. That of course is linked in the description down below. Head on down there, check it out. Check out what you're really missing down there, guys, because you're really missing some awesome stuff going on down there. I was about to swear, I refrained. So we know we met that 1-hour push to the upside. We have now met that 4-hour push to the upside as per the analysis for our members down in Discord. If we were to snap that initial move to the upside, bring it over to the B wave low, as you know, is the flow right on here. The low of 13.923. We'll snap that onto the correct level, and you can see that gives us our C wave target area. But what we can see most notably here is this 1.32 Fibonacci level coming at $15.608, this wicking higher than there, giving us the idea that this C wave has actually turned into a Y wave with the overextension. So this would look a bit more like W, X and Y. Let's just clear off the noise as we like to do. So this push to the upside, W, X and Y, leaves us with a couple of options on this 4-hour time frame itself as to what is really going on. We can check this internal count first of all. This move to the upside, bring it over to the next swing low. Well, we can see it's giving us the idea of an impulsive structure. So should this be a wave 1, 2, wave 3, we could potentially have a little bit more left to come here for Link. I don't think this is actually the play that's going on here, but we will entertain it for the purpose of this video. We'll really crack down the moves that are going on here. So what we can do this one, check with this one once again. This initial push to the upside, take its 100% move over to the next wick low here, which we're just now classing as a wave 2 of 14.033, once again getting onto the correct level. Well, what we can see is that impulsive trigger at 1.618 coming at $15.50 was hit here on this push to the upside. So telling us we may actually have our wave 3 here, our wave 4 down here, and our wave 5 here, giving us a completed move to the downside. And of course for this, guys, let's go down to the lower time frames. We'll drop down to 2-hour. It's not really telling us what we need to know. We're looking for the moves that play out inside this candle here, whether it goes low before it goes high. Dropping down to the 1-hour, well, what we can see right here, this move actually goes high before it goes low. So as we come back up to that 4-hour time frame, we know that this move completely goes up to here, then it comes on down, giving us the idea that we still have that push to the upside. This is why it's key to work on your time frames. If you start high, you go low. If you go low, you have to go high. Get confirmation of all the moves, all the structures is that you are in. So on this premise, we're looking at this move to the upside, this Y wave that we are in, potentially having this 5-wave structure. The actual term should not be a Y wave as it's containing a 5-wave move. It should just be a simple A, B and C, that the C wave is overextending. Again, guys, it's terminology. For the purpose of this video, we'll just mark it up W, X and Y, A, B and C for now. We'll drag this trend line over again because it's piquing my interest, a retest of here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, an impulsive structure to the upside. We know that we could potentially see this one carry on a little bit more. If we were really to grab onto this one, we want to stretch this out just a little bit here. Well, we know that we will be targeting out the 1.236 to the 1.618 Fibonacci levels on this 4-hour time frame, with the lower level here of 15.914, the higher level of 16.218. We can see this one marked up here, giving us, the target area for this 5th wave. And what do we see in this target area? A potential retest of this trend line. Trend lines, they can be your friend, they can be your foe, depending on how you play with them. But we cannot deny the fact that this trend line within itself has been tested on the drops to the downside, and most recently on these pushes to the upside. Well, once again, we are seeing this trend line tested. And yeah, in all honesty, I think the next move for Chainlink is to push on up to test out this trend line once again. Looking down at the bottom right hand corner, of course, that 1-hour time frame is oversold, so potentially we have another push to the upside to come on the low time frames. The 4-hour, the 8-hour overbought. We can of course see just below there that the 4-hour is just starting its corrective phase. Let's just bring this one up. We can see that the RSI, the stochastic RSI, has dropped lower than the average. Let's keep an eye on this one, guys. When we do drop it down to the the hourly time frame, we can see that this one here is picking on up. It's higher than the average, so I do expect that one to continue pushing on up a little bit more. The 2-hour time frame, if it wants to load for us today, the 2-hour time frame here we can see is almost finished, or almost looking to correct its journey to the downside. Once again, the stochastic is this yellow line. We can see it's well below its average. What we will be looking for here is an uptick with the average dropping below, and we could see this one rally on up once again. Absolutely awful drawing, I can only apologise there, guys. But yes, that's a 2-hour time frame. Back over to that 4-hour. Yeah, this one can maybe stay here over the weekend. We can maybe look for this one to reset back to the downside. But overall, targeting out here on the 4-hour time frame especially, $15.91 to $16.21. Might be a little bit of a long-winded way of getting there, guys, but we got there. It's good to explain everything in my mind what I think is going on. When we jump over to the daily time frame, of course, what we kind of spoke about there was the very poor, the lackluster wave 4 that we did see. However, it did meet its minimum expectation, the 0.236 Fibonacci level here at $12.84.5 on this candle here, dropping to $12.85. Did we actually meet that? We didn't actually meet it. Interesting. It's within tolerance. We have to say that much. It is within its tolerance. So what we did obviously for there, guys, we took the low of the wave 2, the high of the wave 3, giving us our 0.236 fib level, which is our minimum requirement. Our typical area, of course, is between the 0.382 and the 0.5 fib levels, where we completely failed to see the price come on down to. The move to the upside again, this 5th wave, we were targeting out the price to go a little bit higher, pushing up towards $17.63 and $19.44, where once again it does appear that that move has kind of truncated within itself. It was again lackluster and not really hitting the typical target areas you would like to look at for a wave 5. I am, however, going to leave these on the chart for now. There's another thing that is playing out in the back of my head that we may see playing out in the charts. Let's just clear some of the noise. In fact, we're going to leave these lines on as well. These lines here, the upper white line, the lower white line, this is representing the area previous of high volatility. Obviously, we can see the test of this upper area. Once we broke that, well, we had that great move to the upside. So we're going to leave that on. I do think we could see that price come back down to test out that line, and it will be interesting to see how it reacts testing out that line once again. But what we do have initially here is this push to the upside. We classed this one here as our wave 1, this move right on in here, just for reference, guys. So what I'm going to have a look at here, take this initial move and over to the wick low. Well, we know that we will be looking for the wave 3 high, and we were looking at the wave 3 high up here. Now, something in the back of my head, just as we're doing this video, is that we may actually have the wave 3 here, this here being a wave 4, and the wave 5 is actually over here, giving us the idea that we've came down into the bigger wave 4. I've drew that one on off. I've just realised what I've done. I can only apologise, guys. I have just realised what I've done here, guys. I wanted to look at this perhaps as a wave 3 up here, that we still have that wave 4 and that wave 5 potentially to come. So this move within itself would be a wave 1, a wave 2, all of this here being a wave 3, wave 4 and wave 5. And what it is we're actually looking at is this tail 5 wave move is just the internal count here of the wave 3. That we do still have that wave 4 and potentially have that wave 5 still to come. For that purpose, let's just take a look one more time. The low of the wave 2, the high of the wave 3, and we'll leave this one open for now. It's not a guarantee to happen, but we have to obviously keep that option open in the back of our minds. So we can see that typical retracement area between the 0.382 and the 0.5 fib, which come between $11.24.4 and $9.84.2. And of course that 0.236 Fibonacci level, the minimum expectation is at 13.256. 13.256. Cool, so we have our levels on the charts here should we see this one play out. This is quite an interesting move. As we go back to that hourly 4-hour time frame, well, we are looking at this as a 5-wave drop to the downside, and we are looking for this move to the upside, giving us the idea that we may be looking at a bigger A, B and C corrective structure. And if we were to really chart this one out the way we should be, guys, we could take that initial move over to the next high, which we're anticipating a retest of that trend line. We could be looking at the $12.76 to the $12.06 level. When we come over to here, to our daily chart, well, that would then bring us into the area of the the retracement we're potentially looking at for this wave 4, then we could actually be looking for that next push to the upside for Chainlink. So it's not out the realms of possibility just yet that we could be seeing, the push up, and we could see $25 Chainlink. Given the way the structures are playing out here, everything that's kind of going on, I'm not ruling this one out. I'm not 100% that this is the play that is, kind of going on here, but I want to keep that option open, and really anticipate that we may still have that potential push to the upside to come. When we look at that from the weekly time frame, well, we can see how it is we had that one charted out, and that's the way the weekly chart has been built for quite some time. Looking at this move that has just played out as the internal of this wave 3, that we still have this wave 4 playing out, and we still have that wave 5 to come, where we are looking at potentially $25 before we do look for a bigger retrace. So what we will do, let's just quickly mark this one out on the weekly chart here, so we have our reference points for future analysis. So it's 11.254 on the upper end, $9.50 on the lower end, with the 0.236 coming right on here at 13.271, just in case any of you guys want to draw this chart up, much like how I have got it on here. This giving us the opportunity to really target out the potential push up in this 5th wave. So should we just come down and test out this lower level here, this 0.236, then that tells us, we're looking at potentially $18 to $20 for the 5th wave. Should we come on down to the 38.2 retracement level, well, that tells us we're looking at $19 to a higher of 22.5. And of course, if we come down to that 50% retracement, the $9.85, which of course would be incredibly bearish, well, we would be looking at $19 upwards of $24.5 in that 5th wave, giving us the idea that we still have potentially a little bit left in the tank for Chainlink, that this move to the upside is not yet over. Now we can be very optimistic here. Should we see that push up to the $25 level, well, we obviously then look for the bigger retracement, and that would be this area right on here, the 50 to 80% of this total move to the upside. This would be an ideal area of accumulation once again for Link, between the $10.97 here at the 0.5 fib level, and of course the $5.77.6 here on the 882. I don't think we'll see the price drop down as low as these lower levels, but it's not out of the realms of possibility. We can see the fair value gaps that are sitting on the chart here that could be tested out, as well as we have the EMA, the 50 SMA right on in here. So we have every possibility of that happening here on the weekly chart. We can see the stocks here, the weekly is starting to correct itself. So perhaps we could actually see, this weekly stochastic correct itself down in this potential 4th wave. Then we will look for that next push to the upside in the 5th wave, dragging that stochastic up once again. But hey, that would just be far too simple and far too easy if that were the case. We'll keep an eye on this one, guys. We'll look to update this one within the next week or so. Of course, it is coming up into the weekend. It is Friday today. I hope you guys all have a fantastic weekend. If you are going to trade, please do trade safely. Have a nice tight stop loss. Make some great gains. Stay safe in the space. Before we leave out for today, guys, as always, please do smash up the like button, subscribe, tapping on the bell, selecting all of the notifications. It greatly helps the channel out. Yeah, guys, take care of yourself, and I'll catch you all in the next one.